To understand this case, you need to look at the myth that's being constructed. A man gives a sermon. He then, in plain sight of everyone, walks into a sealed concrete box. And 30 seconds later, that man is lying dead. A classic, impossible crime.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
So, Daniel, one of the things I was surprised by watching Wake Up Dead Man was that Benoit enters a little bit late in the story, especially compared to Glass Onion. And that reflects, I think, Agatha Christie mysteries. Sometimes her detectives move in and out of the spotlight. Mm-hmm. Do you have a preference for how he appears and when he appears? Do you think
and the last frame. Just turn up quickly at the end.
Am I late?
You did it. And then that's it. Thank you very much. Check and go home. I mean, listen, we've explored, sort of many things, and I'm a sort of huge fan of the, sort of like those Agatha, Peter Ustinov and Death on the Nile and all of those things. And yeah, you need to get to know the main protagonists and sort of get to invest in them. And this film sort of very importantly with Josh O'Connor's part to get to know Father Judd. So. Yeah, whatever works. It's like and I think it does work, so it's fine. It's good,
Right.
I mean, I'm not sitting here with bitterness in my heart, going because I'm hardly in the movie. I'm in the movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, from a writing perspective, how do you know when to deploy Benoit? Again, you're making these choices about when to bring him into the narrative. So how do you approach that?
Yeah, it's really specific to the needs of the story, and I think with this one, because it was about faith and religion, and because that's a little bit more of a complicated theme and subject than we've ever tackled in one of these, it felt right to give us the space in the beginning to really understand Father Judd's dilemma and sort of his place in the world, his opposition to Josh Brolin's character Wicks, and to truly understand that and lay a great framework so that because when Blanc enters, he's going to bring in his own perspective, and it's almost like you can't have three magnetic poles. Like it's kind of Judd versus Wicks for the first act, and then spoiler alert, Wicks goes away, and then Blanc comes in, and then it's Judd and Blanc, and that's a whole new dynamic. So in a way, it's just you kind of have to write to the needs of the story, and narratively, it seemed like it made sense.
In Glass Onion, Daniel, we got to see a peek into Benoit's home life. We see that he lives with Hugh Grant as his partner.
Obviously.
Of course. Who else, right? We don't get as much of a peek here. Do you miss that? Do you want to sort of have the audience learn more about his
No, I don't, actually. I'm actually very... I think that it's important that he remains a mystery. I think it's important for the films. I just think it's also important for the character to sort of... I like the fact he's been somewhere. He's coming from somewhere at the beginning. Always, I feel like he's like either just been solving another mystery or some incredible social event somewhere. I don't know, in Nepal or somewhere I don't know. And that he's going at the end of the film. He's going back somewhere. So, and I just think I kind of I remember about watching Peter Ustinov play Poirot in it was like. Where's he been? Where's he come from? Why does he look so good? It's like,
Ryan, how much of Benoit's backstory have you worked out? Like, do you have a whole biography for him? And does Dan get any input in it? Or do you get to make all the decisions?
No, I mean, we have notions, but to me, I'm very much, we're both very much on the same page about this, which is at the end of the day, we're not writing, Benoit Blanc's history, we're writing murder mysteries. And I think that's what an audience shows up expecting in these. And for me, I feel like just kind of loading in any flashback kind of or mythology or something the audience has to keep track of in terms of Benoit is just kind of putting an extra burden on them. The reality is I think Benoit is a detective, and you learn the most about him through seeing how he navigates these cases and how he navigates the relationships in these cases. And in Wake Up Dead Man, it's mostly with Josh O'Connor's character, Father Judd. I think you learn quite a bit about Blanc in terms of Blanc's relationship to faith, for example, through that relationship in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was at the Toronto premiere where you talked about your own relationship to faith, growing up in a religious household, leaving faith eventually.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I wondered if you felt moved away from faith because of the institution or the people in it. Because here, it's certainly based on the movie. It seems like the people were maybe at fault for your moving away. Do you have a feeling that way?
No, I'd say because the reality is there's just like in any institution, there's good and there's bad. You know, there's people who are doing it for the right reasons, people who are doing it for the wrong. There's plenty of both in the church. For me, it wasn't reacting to that so much as it was just my faith was a very personal thing. It was, it wasn't just that I was dragged to church by my family. It was something that really framed my whole perspective on the world, and my relationship with Christ was something that was very, very important to me. And for me, it was an equally just personal faith-based thing of me slipping away from that and slowly realizing that's not where my belief lied anymore. So it was much more that, I think, for me.
Daniel, for you, for the faith element of this story.
Secular humanist.
There we go. Perfect. All right. Check mark. I'll check that off. Right. But for Benoit's approach to what did you want to bring to his crisis of faith and playing that?
He hasn't had. He's had his crisis of faith. It's sort of been and gone. I think we sort of kind of touch upon that slightly. But it's we're so not setting out to attack religion. Aspects of it for sure. Which are worth attacking. But there's no point in a debate in the movie unless the debate has weight on both sides. So that was all that really mattered to me, is that Blanc's argument was solid and Judd's argument back was just as solid, because it's about that's the formation of that relationship.
If you'll allow me to be pretentious for a moment.
Please.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
good.
fine.
Here we go. You can tell me that if I'm getting too film school.
Yeah.
Zooming out, it seems like you've made a trilogy where each one comments on a pillar of American society. Family in the first one, capitalism in the second one, and then obviously religion here. Are you, in your mind, using...
What's left?
What's left after that, right? You're done.
Oh,
You've done the trilogy.
That's it. Well, that's sorted. Now that we've fixed society,
Right.
we can move on finally.
Yeah.
But in your mind, are you using the cozy murder mystery to interrogate these things? Is that something that you're looking to?
Well, from the very start, it was it was a very conscious decision to unapologetically set these movies in the present moment, and that, going back to the first movie, as someone who grew up loving whodunits. I was mostly watching Agatha Christie adaptations that were set as period pieces, set kind of in a timeless little bubble of a world. And a big thing for me was realizing that's not what Christie was doing at the time. She never wrote a period piece. She was writing to her specific time and place. And I think the murder mystery form is uniquely suited to that. I think you're building a little power hierarchy of suspects who all have a different perspective on this person at the top of the hierarchy. It's a phenomenal vehicle to create a little microcosm of a given slice of society. So why not put it to work in having fun with and laughing at and talking about and pulling apart, our present world.
Anything to add on that, Daniel?
God, no.
He summed it up.
Bring it home.
Well, this year is the 20th anniversary of Munich, which I think is a film that's...
How many years?
20 years, 2005, December.
It's like, what the...
Yeah. But I think it's freshly relevant, certainly, in terms of current headlines. How do you think that film speaks to the debate we're always having about cycle of revenge and misunderstanding between faiths and cultures?
I think that it was a very... during filming, 7/7 happened in London.
Mm-hmm.
So it was as sort of... it was as close to the bone as you could possibly be at the time. But Stephen's sensibility about it and also sensitivity to the subject is really kind of what makes the movie, I think, kind of the movie ring and because it is about human relationships. It's about humanity. It's about how these terrible cycles of violence only cause pain, and that there are some people with vested interests that want to keep them going, and it's usually those are the bad guys. So it's like so. It's yes. I hope it remains relevant. I'm obviously very proud of it.
I was watching something again last night, and that the phone scene, the scene where they plant the device in the phone, and then like that is still a masterclass in tension. I wonder, being part of that.
Nothing to do with me.
You're watching Stephen choreograph this. I mean, what did you learn doing that sequence?
I mean, I was so terrified most of that movie just because I was working with Steven Spielberg that I can't really tell you what. But I knew what it was. It was a huge lesson for me, as most movies are. But you know, him coming and watching him plan a shot, and you know, he arrives on the first day of shooting and he leaves on the last day of shooting. It's a tradition he's had since Jaws. Because he thought at the end of Jaws everybody's going to kill him. And so he leaves, he's gone.
Gets out of there.
So you're waiting for him to arrive, and I remember he arrived on set, we were shooting this scene outside in a car. We're all sat in a car. I think Matthew Kasavit runs towards us, and he set up this shot. And it was one camera move on a dolly with a big curve at the end of it like that. There was no real kind of notes on acting. It was like, go! It's like, well, let's get shit off, get off the pot. So, I mean, it was obviously a masterclass, and watching him work was amazing.
Ryan, you have your own 20th anniversary this year because Brick debuted at Sundance exactly 20 years ago.
Oh, here we go! Wow,
in January, so you're both double 20s.
We're both old. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But what would your current self tell your younger self now, if you were to look back at that kid who made Brick and debuted?
If I took a time machine back, I wouldn't tell him anything. I wouldn't get out of the time machine. I don't want to mess it up.
Would he listen?
He wouldn't listen to me anyway. Rightly so. Yeah. Look at me. Yeah. Yeah, I would go do your thing, man. Come on, yes, don't do anything different.
It's funny, listening to the few interviews there are of Agatha Christie, she would talk about her writing process, and she sort of had a very disciplined thing that she did on each one. So are there things that you did on Brick that you still do today? Are there sort of rituals that you know not to abandon?
Well, I still write really the same way. I start I spend 80% of the process outlining, and I still work in little notebooks and kind of just plan, and the typing is kind of the very last step of the process for me. I really need to have the whole arc of the story in my head and have all the specifics. So I don't know. Yeah, old dog, new tricks. Not so much, I guess. Yeah.
Well, she wrote on a typewriter. Do you do the typewriter thing, or do you adopt to?
I don't. I use the word. I know it's not a real.
Agatha would be so sad.
I do write a lot of dialogue longhand first, though. I will write actually, and I use a fountain pen, so that's kind of pretentious, like a typewriter. That's a little fussy.
Dialogue's good to write with a longhand.
I think it is. I think there's some of the connection of hand to brain. There's something to that. I think.
That's why I carry this around.
That's it. That's what I read in. Exactly, yeah.
You've capped a trilogy here, obviously, and it's always capping a trilogy is a tough ask. And are you looking beyond this? Do you see a fourth movie at some point down the line? Are you taking a break first before you?
I didn't really think of it as a trilogy. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know.
I suppose because there's three of them.
It makes sense.
Right, in that there's three of them.
That's right. We're calling it three movies trilogy.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I see it as a trilogy either. Really. I think it's in a way it's nice that you can look at it, but I think it's maybe up to you guys to kind of like have that. Yes, it's the simple answer. We would definitely, and I think if we can wind each other up enough, then we'll make another one.
I believe in us.
Yeah.
Well, beyond you two clearly have rapport. Beyond the mystery genre, do you see yourself going to any other genres with
hardcore action movie?
Okay, there we go.
Lots of explosions.
Explosions.
Yeah.
I love this.
And
I
we
love
need a
it.
few more explosions. Come on.
I will follow this man anywhere. Is the answer. I'd be very lucky to be on any set at all with him.
Well, over the arc of your three movies, how has your relationship evolved? What would you say is the biggest change as you've gone through, or has it just been a gradual evolution from the first one?
Well, I think it's definitely become much more of kind of a partnership in these. I mean, with the first movie, we met cold and sort of jumped into it, and now by the third one, I don't know. It's been one of the true joys of it.
The thing is, we didn't make the first movie thinking we were going to make two more.
Not at all.
We're both long enough in the tooth to sort of realize that ain't the way it works. So it was just a you know, I mean, for everybody concerned, was a wonderful surprise and fabulous the way that the audiences responded to it. So, you know, then presents itself with this other you were going to make another one now. It's a high-class problem, but it's still a problem.
Yeah.
And we should quickly just, it's going to be in theaters first and then go to Netflix. Would you recommend people see it in theaters?
Yes.
Everyone go see it in theaters.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
with the
See
whole
it.
family.
The biggest crowd you can go with. Go
Right.
do it, man.
We've
Yeah.
had two premieres. We've had one in Toronto and we've had one in London, and massive audiences. And you get that for me, will you please? Just take a message.
Right.
It's London
There
calling.
you go. Bye. And that I'll never forget, because I mean it's happened before. We took both these movies to TIFF, all three movies to TIFF, and that experience in the cinema is unique.
Absolutely.
Yeah.